It looked like Tony Ricciardello was there. If he holds on to that position, he may well have the lead here. The West Aussie racing with so much speed. It is
the curve of no, he's hit the wall.
See that he blasts straight round the outside of the Audis.
This is exactly what we saw Caruso do yesterday, but it's got away from Ricciardello.
Morning everybody, Ran here, Sedan TV, episode 5. My favourite number. I like 5. It's a good number. My dad used it on his race cars. I would be running number 5 if I could. Tony runs number 5. He's pretty badass. So, what's happening in Sedan land? Well, we're going to focus today predominantly on the Nationals. Just a short podcast, this one, just to bring you guys up to date on what's happening. Round 1, March 15 to 17 at Symonds Plains in Tasmania. The Apple Isle. Why is it the Apple Isle? I'm sure someone can tell me. So, I suppose the first big news is that... Is it big news? I think it's big news. A lot of people were very excited to see Brad Sheriff, the man with the red skyline. Well, Bradley, young wood duck as he calls himself, that is the name that he has given himself. We didn't make it up. He had an accident on Sunday in testing. He is fine, but the car is damaged. He hasn't sent me photos. He won't send me photos. He was going to send me in-car. He hasn't sent me in-car. So I'm assuming that means that he's not too happy about it. And he isn't too happy. He said it's his fault. He just ran out of talent, I think is what he actually said. We all know Brad has some talent. He just talks himself down. He goes all right for a old whiskey drinking Tasmanian. But unfortunately, that does mean that his new car, his new blue R34, won't be running, which is extremely disappointing. I'm sure it's more disappointing for him than for us with the amount of work that he's put into that car. So there's supposedly a fair bit of carbon damage. And as he told me, that carbon isn't cheap and it's not something you buy from Bunnings. So I'm assuming that he will be waiting on spares. Look, don't quote me, don't put bets on this, but I reckon there is a chance he will rock up. He said he's not. He said, I'm not going. It's not happening around Finito. But I don't know. I've just got some sort of feeling. There's been a bit of secret squirrel stuff around Sports Sedans this year, more than recently, and yeah. So, but at this stage, he's not running, which is disappointing because we really wanted to see how that car would go against the front-running national cars, which probably brings us to the second confirmation again, unless he's playing secret squirrels. But I've been talking to Tony a fair bit via text because I don't use phones like normal humans because I don't like them. But I will text you all day long and night. And Tony said he is definitely not going. He is waiting on engine parts and he's doing upgrades to that car. So I suppose I'm putting 1 and 2 and 3 together and coming up with a number that adds them together. And I'm assuming that he will be probably upgrading bladder tank and upgrading seating in preparation for those regs when they do come in. Look at earlier episodes if you want to hear about that, but we don't have any confirmation of exactly when that's coming in, but I'm assuming he's doing that. I know that when I spoke to him at Gold Coast, he also said that the bodywork had been patched up a lot and was getting quite heavy, so he's probably making a fresh body, not a Ferrari body, the same body. And his main concern is that he's waiting for... his main issue, I should say, is he's waiting for engine parts. And as someone that has now got a NASCAR-powered sports sedan, I can tell you it's very difficult to get parts in Australia. And even from the States, there's usually, for a lot of stuff, there's long waits, or you have to get it custom made now because they don't hold that stock anymore. They don't make it anymore. So Tony is out also. Also, John Goulet with the Audi, Jordan Caruso, they will not be running. John is working very hard on the new car and also waiting on engine parts. Also a Chev-powered sports sedan, NASCAR. I think he's an SP2, is he an 18 degree? He might be an 18 degree. But I remember speaking to John at Calder, and that motor that is in the Audi, the main motor, is like, yeah, it's got the block and the heads of a Chev, but everything inside of it is bespoke. It's got friggin' Toyota bits or some other different stuff in there to create the power that he requires and blah, blah, blah. The next person that's out, not a front runner, but it is a fan favorite, very quick car. It's made itself home in sports sedans over late last year, and that is Angus Fogg, who had the crash at Bathurst. They did get the car repaired to be able to run Touring Car Masters, but I think they did a motor, or they were about to do a motor, and they've decided to ship that car back to New Zealand and freshen it up and get it all right. So we may or may not see Angus back this year in that car. So they're probably the big outs, unfortunately. The ins. Let's go through the list. So first we have Alex Williams, a local, in the red RX-7 rotary powered space frame car. Very quick car. Alex and his dad maintain these cars themselves. This is actually Laurie's car, but Alex drives it. Alex is building a really cool car. You need to check out their page on Facebook. It's a Mercedes. It's pretty cool. It's an older sports sedan that I don't know if it ran very much, but he's doing complete rebuild on that. So Alex Williams will be out there. I think with local knowledge, he will be very quick around Symmons Plains. Let's go. The next local is Stephen Gangel. I may not be pronouncing that right. I have not met Steve. With a VL Commodore, another space frame car running a Walkinshaw Chev. I don't know too much about this. He has been competing in like a TT category for the last 5 or 6 years and has now gone over to sports sedans. And he messaged me and said that he's actually leading the Tasmanian Sports Sedan Championship at the moment because he said there's no wood ducks around. So referring to Brad. Next we have Ben Patel in the 180 SX. I am a huge fan, as you know, of the 180 and Nissan's full stop. Running a 2J. Very bloody quick car. It's a floor pan based car. It was a drift car for a long time. Looks like the guy can drive. Ben looks like he can certainly steer that thing. I find that the guys that have come from drifting who are good drifters and did it for a long time, they're just really got great car control when they come over to circuit racing. And you know, they're not afraid to grab the car by the scruff of the neck and just chuck it around there. So, look, can he mix it with the front guys? I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, my dad loves to say that, you know, floor pan cars, there's no reason why they can't be winning sports sedans. And I was quite adamant that that's not the case up until recent times. But I think the right built car, I suppose it's hard to move weight around. Sometimes it's hard to be able to get access to things, so it makes it a bit harder to work on. But Benny Patel, let's check it out. I think that's going to be pretty badass. Kim Barwick. Kim Barwick is the next guy from Tassie, next local running, and he's running in an R32 that was old Hooper Hooper's car. So Brad Sheriff built the motor, and I don't know if he built the car, but he definitely had a hand in it. Don't know exactly how much, but that is a very quick car, and Brad has told me that Kim should be pretty bloody quick. It'd be very interesting to see. Kim was racing a Commodore before that, so he's finally seen the light and gone to Nissan. Go Kim, I'm already a fan. So they are some of the locals. We're still waiting on some more of the list. But let's go to the mainland people. So first let's have the Ingrams, both in rotary Mazdas, one in an RX-8, one in an RX-7. The RX-8 is an ex-IMSA car, but been completely rebuilt. Both running, I'm pretty sure they're both running billet motors from PAC, who super nice people in New South Wales that build weapon rotaries and really know what they're doing. And both those cars should be pretty bloody fast. Pete probably will be a little bit quicker, but Matt's coming on, and that car is a bit heavy, and I think a little bit, I'm not sure if it's got as much power, but it's definitely a little bit heavier than Pete's car. So will be interesting to see, but fantastic that they're both going over. I know there's a lot of fans of the rotary powered machines. Mark Duggan and Scott Cameron, both from Duggan Family Hotels sponsorship. Obviously, Mark has the Aston, the ex-Kerry Bailey car. Poor old Mark can't live that down that it's the ex-Bailey car, but it did win a championship, so it's got a lot of pedigree. It's been pretty much rebuilt since then. It's now over the last sort of year, really finding its feet. They've done a lot of changes in the behind the scenes with team, and Mark's put a lot of effort into the engine program and sort of working through the issues that car has had, that he sort of inherited to a degree. As race cars evolve, get faster, they start to brake more. So just working on things, making it his own car. And I think definitely by now it is his own car. So it'll be really interesting to see how Mark goes. Scotty Cameron with the Commodore looked really good at Bathurst in the combined sedans event that he did. And I think with a fresh motor, Dave, his dad, has been working really hard on the car, and they've done a lot of upgrades. I think last year they put new uprights on it. I'm not sure if they put new brakes, but they did a fair bit of upgrades, but they had their engine let go, which sort of put the end of their campaign proper in 2023. So two to watch. I think that Duggan's car's probably quicker. Young Scotty's younger and probably a little bit more fiery, but we'll see. So he probably can wrestle that car around Simmons Plains probably a bit quicker, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's see what happens. I think both of them will be pretty happy if they can be in the top 5 to 10. Definitely Scotty will be going for top 10. Mark probably looking for top 5. Next up, a fan favourite, someone I know you all love, and that's Ryan Humphreys in the Ford, the mighty silver Ford that looks like... does it look like... Look, it's a bit rougher looking from the outside, and it's a proper home-built sports sedan. It's fucking fast. What can I say? It's got an LS in it, 6-litre LS. It shouldn't be that fast, but it is, and it's a proper legal sports sedan, no messing around. He wrenches away on it. He makes it happen. He's racing at WA, and then he's freaking coming all across from WA like in 2 weeks to get to Tassie to race nationals. This guy is a sports sedan diehard, and it's going to be awesome to see him over there. I think he's going to love it. He loves the challenge of new tracks. He'll wrestle that thing hard, man. Like, it should be good to watch. So, Ryan Humphrey in the Ford. Steve Tomasi. Now, I messaged you, and you said you didn't know. And I think they were playing like, oh, we don't want anyone to know. Don't tell anyone we're going over. It's secret stuff. But Tomasi's are going over. So they are what I consider one of the top 3 cars currently to date. And so they'll be over in the Calibra. And as you know, I love a good Calibra. Awesome shape, nice and slippery. Theirs has been around a long time. They've been racing for a hell of a long time. So I think I was concerned that they weren't going to make this year. They had sort of engine niggles. I don't know if it's problems, but just little things were sort of upsetting their plans last year, and they didn't really hit the stride. They did win a couple of races, so why can't they win another one? They probably can. So it'd be good to see Steve over there. He comes to grips with tracks pretty quickly. Car's fucking quick in a straight line. It's got some good bits on it. They are a home team, but a home team that's well funded, so they work hard for it. And I wish they'd bring the 300ZX out, but that's a whole nother story. But so Steve Tomas will be out in the Calibra. Graham Gillian's a Victorian, another Victorian who's going in the RX-7. Graham's been over there, and I think he's beaten the car that I had. My car's beaten him, and he's beaten it. So look, Graham won't be up the front. He knows that. But I wouldn't. If it rains, you never know where you'll see him. Like, Graham can steer a car, and he's had that car a long time, and they've put a bigger spaceship motor and a bigger rotary, so it'll be buzzing away. And definitely a side chance for a good finish if the conditions are wet. Next up is Ashley Jarvis. Young Ash did really well last year, was leading the championship in the Smith Monaro, so he'll be out there. Doing his thing, so that'll be good to see. I'm not sure. I don't think they've done any upgrades this year. For this year, they may have, but they've been sort of pretty quiet. But look, he keeps getting faster as he gets more comfortable with that car. Can it mix it with Tomasi? I don't know. But, look, without Tony and John there, it's definitely going to give him a chance to be, I'd say he'll be aiming for podium finishes over the weekend, unless the Tasmanians pull something out of the bag. So which they may. I'm definitely not discounting them. Another Monaro will be obviously Michael Robinson, Robbo, who runs National Sports Sedans along with John, but does a lot of the work. I don't know how he can focus on racing when he tries to run, herd a bunch of racing cats that do what they want. And yeah, I think props off to you, Robbo. You're doing really well. But yeah, so Robbo will be running the Monaro. He's still building the Mustang. It's still a little way off. I'm sure he would like it there right now, but it's not. Talking about Mustangs that aren't Mustangs, I don't know what to call them. They're Mustang-y looking cars. Something to do with Mark cars. I don't really know what to call them, but Jeff Taunton and Steve Lacey will both be running in those cars. I would like to know, there's a bit of funny stuff, whether they're a Mark car or some other brand, I don't know, but they're built by Pace Industries. They're pretty bloody quick. They look like Mustangs. One's green, one's red. They should be pretty fast. Both got LSs in them. So Jeff Taunton, he was quick at Bathurst. He's got pep in his step. He wants to mix it up with the front boys. He's not there to fornicate. What do they say? Fornicate with arachnid or something instead of fuck with spiders. But so he'll be there going hard. So definitely watch Jeff. If he gets a sniff, he'll be in there. And that's it. That's the list that I have at the moment. So supposedly there's a few more cars. Tune in. I will let you know. Obviously on the National Sports Sedan page, I've started doing posts. I hadn't been employed to do that until this week. So that's the other day you will have noticed that suddenly since December, like at December 31st, it stopped and it's only just started. That's because finally I'm back on board doing some socials. At this stage, I am not going to be at the race meeting, unfortunately, covering it. If you want to get behind me and sponsor me to be able to get me over there, to do that, hook us up. Got to do it really soon. Otherwise, we'll start focusing on round 2, trying to get to that to do some coverage. Because it's good. We get to interview people, talk to them. You get to see more of what's happening behind the scenes rather than just the short TV footage and sort of get some background. I've run out. I thought this was going to take 5 minutes, something like 15 or 16 minutes. But anyway, Sports Sedans will be at Symmons Plains, March 15 to 17. I'll try and get some information even if I'm not going, but I might be busy helping my dad race that weekend if I don't go. Thanks for everyone that's been messaging. If you've got any questions, I'm trying to think if you've got any questions. Did you have any questions? What did you want to know? We're going to do some cool things coming up. I've been chatting with Miles Bond, who is the president of South Australian Sports Sedans, about doing some podcasts and videos based on just interpreting regs of sports sedans, because we've noticed that there's a fair bunch of cars that have some basic shit that could be fixed to make it comply. I'm going to try and give you guys who want to get into the category some tips and sort of just run you through how you get into sports sedans, from logbooking your car to prepping and just basic stuff. It won't be of any use for anyone that's a seasoned racer, but we want to get more cars on the grid, and there's lots of sports sedans around. So, yeah. Thanks very much. I'm Ran, Sports Sedan TV, Sports Sedan Podcast. Rock on, Gods of Thunder, Monsters of Motorsport. We rock. Most badass category in Australia. Get around it. Don't be a dick. Rock on.